Bill Maher thinks WNBA rookie and #1 draft pick Caitlin Clark is being targeted by other players because she's not a lesbian and she's white.
What if your entire perspective on Caitlin Clark's relocation to Europe was completely altered? Bill Maher just revealed something much more shocking than we anticipated. Was her exit from the WNBA primarily motivated by financial gain or something more profound?
The league is very lesbian, and she's not. And there's race. There's a lot of going on here.
Make sure to click the notice and subscribe button before we get started, because Maher's revelation has everyone talking, and you won't believe what's truly behind Caitlin's contract overseas. Bell to ensure you don't miss any of the most recent sports news and analysis.
See, if this was men, they defend each other on their same team. I mean, men will fight from two teams, but when somebody checks you on who's on your team, you defend that guy.
When Bill Maher mentioned Caitlin Clark's shocking move to Europe, he didn't mince words. Most fans assumed that Clark's leaving the WNBA was just about a larger salary or better opportunities abroad, but Maher made it clear that this move goes much deeper than that. He claimed that Clark wasn't just leaving for financial reasons. Rather, she was fleeing an environment where she felt totally out of place.
I'll just say, it's not always racism when a white person succeeds.
And it's not always racism when black people hip check him either.
Let's examine what Maher disclosed in his own words. Clark's life in the NBA wasn't easy from the beginning because she didn't fit into the league's preferred narrative. It wasn't just about basketball either. According to Maher, this led to tension that extended beyond the court. Rather than being praised for her extraordinary talent and potential, Clark was treated like an outsider in a league that ought to have been welcoming her. Maher wasn't afraid to call out what he saw as the NBA's hypocrisy. The league, which has always positioned itself as progressive and inclusive, was now accused of excluding one of its biggest stars because she didn't fit the appropriate social boxes. This wasn't about Caitlin's skill as a player. Rather, it was about her not fitting into the league's prof image for someone like Clark, who has been breaking records and making headlines since her college days. The worst part, according to Maher, is that other players also seemed to target Clark, making it clear that she didn't belong. From snide remarks to excessively aggressive play on the court, it seemed like Clark was constantly being pushed out of the spotlight despite being one of the best things to happen to the WNBA in years. Rather than embracing her as the league's future, many players seemed more interested in making her feel uncomfortable. This type of treatment is difficult for any athlete, but for a rising star like Clark, it must have been extremely discouraging. It's one thing to deal with tough competition, but it's another when it feels like the entire league is against you. Clark herself spoke out on social media about how physical the defense against her had become in recent games, claiming that she felt like she was being hammered on the court and that the referees were letting her opponents get away with things they wouldn't allow for other players. Additionally, Maher noted that this wasn't a singular occurrence. According to Maher, Clark's WNBA experience was a part of a broader pattern of behavior in which the league was more concerned with voting for a specific social agenda than with identifying talent. According to Maher, Clark's opportunity to play in Europe must have felt like a lifeline for her because she wasn't just an athlete who didn't fit the mold. She was a victim of a system that was more concerned with politics than sports, and the environment was oppressive for someone who loved basketball. For Clark, playing in Europe wasn't just about money or better facilities. It was about survival. Clark needed to leave a setting where she was continuously being ignored, and Europe provided the opportunity for her to do so. There, she could concentrate on her strongest suit, basketball. Absence of social politics, just the game. No ulterior motives. Maher's bombshell also highlights the WNBA's more significant problems at the moment. Although the league has made progress in advancing women's sports, it is evident that there are still long-standing issues that require attention. If a player from Mars, like Caitlin Clark, who is arguably one of the most gifted athletes to enter the league in recent memory, feels the need to leave, that is a serious warning sign. The WNBA is supposed to be the pinnacle of women's basketball, but if it keeps losing top talent like Clark, it may face significant challenges in the future. Maher's revelations have sparked a debate about whether the league is really as inclusive as it claims to be, or if it is pushing away the very stars who could take it to the next level. Players have also begun to speak out about the problems within the WNBA. with some even considering following Clark's example and moving overseas. For these athletes, the appeal of playing in Europe is about more than just money. It's about escaping an increasingly toxic environment. Many fans are curious about what's actually happening behind the scenes in the WNBA as a result of the devastating fallout from Maher's statements. The questions that Maher's bombshell has brought to the forefront are whether the league is truly focused on showcasing the best players or on promoting a specific narrative, and if the latter, what does that mean for the future of women's basketball? The WNBA must respond to these questions if it hopes to continue for the time being. Although it appears like Caitlin Clark has found a new home in Europe where she can concentrate on her game without the WNBA's controversy and distractions, Maher's revelations have opened a bag of worms that won't be quickly closed. If the WNBA wants to prevent its top players from leaving, it needs to do some serious introspection. Maher stated that the league's current strategy isn't working and that it's a part of a larger problem that reveals deeper rifts in the WNBA. The league has always taken pride in being progressive and inclusive, but Maher's bombshell revealed how these very ideals may be turning away some of its best players. If Clark, a record-breaking rookie who has garnered a lot of attention, feels alienated enough to leave, what does that say about the league's current state? Maher's perspective implies that rather than recognizing Clark for her skill and the excitement she brought to women's basketball, the WNBA is more interested in promoting a particular narrative than embracing the diversity of all of its players, including those who don't fit the image it wishes to project. Making sure she didn't overshadow its favorite storylines was the main goal of the consequences. The WNBA has been riding high on its reputation as one of the most progressive sports leagues in the world, supporting LGBTQ+ players and advocating for social justice. However, Maher pointed out that this focus has overshadowed the game itself and created an environment where players like Clark feel out of place. In an attempt to push a narrative of inclusivity, the WNBA may have unintentionally alienated those who don't fit its image, making basketball a secondary priority. Maher claims that the league's social and political focus has marginalized players who don't fit that mold. This change in emphasis has important ramifications for the league's future. Like any other professional sports league, the WNBA depends on its stars to draw spectators, sell merchandise, and draw in supporters. One of those stars was Caitlin Clark, and her move to Europe signifies that the league may lose more of its best players if these internal problems are not resolved more quickly. It would be disastrous for the WNBA if other players who feel similarly alone or marginalized followed Clark's example and looked for opportunities elsewhere. In fact, Maher hinted that Clark's decision might lead to a greater exodus of talent from the league, stating that other players have also expressed dissatisfaction with the WNBA's culture and that some are thinking about leaving the league for the same reasons as CL Clark. While European teams frequently pay more than WNBA teams, players who feel that the WNBA is no longer the perfect fit for them are increasingly drawn to European leagues because they provide better earnings and a more basketball-focused environment. Maher made it clear that this move was about more than just Clark's financial gain. She wanted to escape the drama, the politics, and the feeling that she was constantly being pushed out of the spotlight despite her undeniable talent in Europe. Europe provided her with just that, and if more players follow in Clark's footsteps, the WNBA will be left scrambling to maintain its star power and keep fans interested. Losing a player like Caitlin Clark is a big hit not only because of her skills on the court but also because of the attention she brought to the league. Her games, she attracted a lot of attention and was set to be one of the WNBA's faces for years to come. However, now that the spotlight has moved to Europe, the WNBA will need to put in a lot of effort to replace the gap she left behind. Maher's bombshell also brings up an important conversation about the role of politics and sports. The WNBA has been one of the most vocal leagues when it comes to social issues, but Maher's take suggests that this focus might be coming at the cost of the sport itself if players feel like they're being judged more on their social or political alignment than their basketball skills. It could create a toxic environment where talent gets overshadowed by non-sporting issues. For the WNBA, this is a delicate balancing act, the league has built a strong reputation around its progressive values, and it's been a trailblazer in many ways when it comes to advocating for social justice. But if those values start to push players like Clark out of the league, it could backfire. The WNBA will need to find a way to embrace all of its players regardless of their backgrounds or personal beliefs if it wants to remain a competitive and thriving league. Maher's comments have sparked a debate that extends beyond Caitlin Clark and the WNBA. They bring up more significant issues regarding the role of politics in sports, as well as how leagues can strike a balance between their duty to promote the game and their dedication to social causes. For Clark, moving to Europe was a way to concentrate on her passion for basketball, but for the WNBA, this may serve as a wake-up call that they need to reevaluate how they're handling their players and their image. What does Caitlin Clark do now that she's in Europe? She has the chance to really shine on a global stage. Beyond the money and the game, Europe offers Clark a new beginning where she can concentrate on basketball without the burden of playing in the WNBA. For the WNBA, Clark's loss is a significant setback, but also an opportunity. European women's basketball is extremely competitive, and her talent will undoubtedly make her a standout player overseas. The European leagues are also known for being more financially rewarding, which is another benefit for Clark. The WNBA may emerge stronger on the other side if the league can take this opportunity to consider how it handles its players and whether its priorities are in line. However, if they keep going in the same direction, they run the risk of losing more players like Clark and harming their standing as a top-tier league. Few people anticipated the side of the WNBA that Bill Maher's bombshell revealed, and it has brought up significant issues regarding the league's and women's basketball's overall future. What do you think? Bill Maher is correct about Caitlin Clark's decision to leave the WNBA, and what does this mean for the league's future? Please share your thoughts in the comments section below, and don't forget to like this video. Caitlin Clark's move to Europe serves as a reminder that, at the end of the day, it's all about the game. And if the WNBA wants to remain competitive, it needs to put basketball back at the center of everything it does. To ensure you don't miss any more significant sports stories like this one, please subscribe to our channel and click the notification bell. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.